Visit with the folks from College Station on Fridays. Colin Killian's here this morning. How are you today?
Doing great, Scott. Thanks.
Excellent. You took a week off, huh?
Took a week off. Went to Tennessee.
Man. Now, how is it that one city had yesterday off and the other didn't? You got any thoughts on that?
They have two different managements and governing bodies. So,
did you text your counterpart in Bryan going, "Oh, you're working today, huh?"
Yeah, I sent her a picture of me with my ears on.
All right, we got a guest today.
We're very happy to have our Place 5 City Councilman, Bob Yancy.
Good morning, Councilman. How are you?
I'm doing good. How about you, Scott?
Good. Glad to have you in here. Let's start first. We were talking to a member of the Bryan Council on Wednesday. Marco was in, and we were discussing the water settlement that seems to be at hand. Tell us what you can share with that.
Not much, Scott, because it is a pending legal matter, but we are in discussions. Those discussions are progressing, and I think for me, about the best we could hope for out of the deal is to buy some time, hopefully many, many years, and early reports are we're probably going to be able to do that.
Well, and we're also hearing, of course, I think the phrase was used, we're the canary in the coal mine with this. Other areas are seeing it for any number of reasons. It's a universal problem in the state of Texas, and it does need to be addressed on the state level.
Yes, sir. It's popping up like popcorn all over the state. The legislature is going to have to do something. The laws, given this, they might have been efficient for yesteryear, but they're antiquated for what's going on today.
Right. Impact fees did not make it across the finish line in Austin this year, but it may be revisited. Certainly, we've talked to Representative Dyson about that in some iteration. How do you think the city should prepare for a change in the impact fee situation?
I'd like to see us get out ahead of it, but I've been that way for 3 years, 2.5 years now. I was really appreciative of and really struck up a great relationship with Representative Paul Dyson. We were of a mind back when he was campaigning on that issue, and 2.5 years really kind of, pardon the analogy, beating my head against a wall on this. I believe we've got challenges in our single family, particularly entry level home market. We've got student towers going up everywhere. Student housing, the market is addressing, but from an entry level, single family perspective, I believe we've got a lot of work to do.
As a member of a council, I don't see that a lot of members of this council are on your side with this. Are you kind of becoming the Lone Ranger here?
I'm accustomed to becoming the Lone Ranger on some issues, but ultimately getting those issues over the line. Northgate comes to mind, Rosemary comes to mind, a handful of others. I hope to continue to work to, persuade and convince, and it's all in the data. Our own housing action plan report says we're 4,600 homes shy of a balanced market. It says that the vast majority of folks in town cannot afford or are mortgage burdened. And we've also got data in our existing conditions report that says young people are leaving College Station. I think we need young families to grow with our city. And so that's kind of where I'm at on the topic.
Bob Yancy, City Councilman here. The mayor has been in here and to give a capsulation of what the idea is. City buys a home, it gets rehabbed, it gets sold. That person who buys that property then would be capped at the amount that they could charge for the next person to buy the home. Is that basically the idea?
That's the idea, but I fundamentally disagree with it. We I believe exacerbated this problem. We didn't create it. And then to come up with some sort of price cap or equity cap. I mean, the whole purpose of a young family getting into a home is to be able to accumulate wealth and accumulate equity in that home that they can step up as their family grows. And to me, that feels like a government program that's overly complex and not applicable to the situation.
In Bob Yancey's world, how would the city of College Station be able to get into the housing market to tamp this down?
By getting out of the way. I think for every home under 2,000 square feet, and also apartment complexes, because apartment complexes constitute the largest stock of workforce housing in the United States of America. I'd like to see us, dramatically reduce and or eliminate fees so that we can balance our market. We're fine in student housing. It's the single family and workforce housing that I'm concerned about.
College Station tried to get in front of it when it came to the discussion of the last piece that you have at Northgate, the last piece of property the city owns. What should it look like? What should it become? You've had some citizen input there, but characterize where we are with that process.
I love how the Northgate situation is played out. Staff put the citizens first in a series of meetings wherein they could come in and tell them what they feel about this. For others, Northgate may not mean much, but for a preponderance of Aggies, it's a romantic area. It's an idea more than it is, 5-star quality spaces. And so we've engaged. We put the citizens first. We've had this torrential feedback. That's all gone into a plan that Anthony Armstrong is working on. I give Anthony huge kudos for what he's done around that. And on the city surface lot, there's what my constituents think, and I work for them, right? I don't work for staff. I don't work for my colleagues. I work for the citizens. What they think is going to rule the day on what I decide. But my personal opinion, I think, a luxury boutique, low-rise hotel with a rooftop bar and some live music outside, but overall, just showing the attention and the care to Northgate for what it is for our community. I feel like it's been neglected a little bit.
Let's talk about economic development, your view of where College Station needs to be there, how much of that should be on your own, how much of it should be in cooperation with Brian or other entities around College Station.
Well, there's a lot of history there. We've so many faces, so many names, so many different organizations and iterations of it. I think we need to settle in on whatever we're going to do. But as far as the type of economic development I'd like to see, this retail stuff, it's going to come to us. We're an affluent community. We on council and staff, for that matter, we can't lay credit to that stuff. To a large degree, that's like the rooster claiming credit for the dawn. They want to be here, but it's the primary jobs, white collar, blue collar, gray collar, technical jobs. There were abundant options. When I graduated from Texas A&M University, there was opportunity to retain our intellectual capital in this town. Young families could, and fresh grads could find gainful employment other than in the service industry, which is an honorable vocation. But they could get housing. They could find jobs. And so I'm focused on that, primary jobs in economic development.
I don't know if it's been announced yet, but there's going to be a special session. It's going to start July 7th. There's going to be a call. We don't have that all from the governor yet, but there's some speculation that one of the things they will address is lobbyists for counties and cities and going after them. What's your thought?
Well, I think TML is a good organization.
Texas Municipal League, so people know.
I think it gives us an opportunity to network with one another. I'm not 100% sure how efficacious they are. Legislative affairs is all about relationships. If you are an elected official and you do not have a relationship with your state senator and your state representative, you are, in my estimation, doing a disservice to the constituents you serve. And if you don't have them on speed dial and you can't text them and they don't respond in relatively short order, then that's a relationship you need to work on. That's where the rubber meets the road. That's where the sausage making of legislation can be leveraged to our benefit.
Your thought on no more than 4 and how that has made it through the legislature?
Well, it's a bracketing bill now. It's basically they've carved out 4 to 6 cities. And if the way we're going about it has been unconstitutional for 60 years, then why wouldn't it be applied statewide? Why just to the city of College Station? I believe I'm a capitalist private property rights guy. Everybody knows that about me. But I just really worry about the impact of this bill if the governor doesn't veto it. And hopefully he listens to WTAW. Please, Governor Abbott, veto 1567.
Well, he was on once with me, and he didn't like what I asked him, so he doesn't come back. That's all I can tell you. Let's talk about police force as far as numbers are concerned. Every city is having challenges when it comes to filling vacancies and being able to grow. What kind of challenges did you see in College Station?
That's right. And your predicate to the question is an important one. For all of the challenges rather, that we face, they're faced all over the state. You know, the best we can do is not make them worse. Relative to police and public safety, I've had a concern for a long while, going back, 2 budgets now, that, you know, we're short with police officers, and we're asking an awful lot of them, and they're delivering. They're doing a heck of a job. But we've been in possession of a consulting report for many years that says we're significantly short. So, but you have budget constraints. You can't, do everything at once. But I'd sure like in this budgetary session to see us, add significant headcount in the police department.
Anything else you'd like to speak to this morning?
I don't think so. That's about it.
Thanks for the time this morning.
Thank you.
What else you got for us today?
Well, local musicians will perform free live music across College